Thank you. Good morning. First time I'm in Guatemala, and we've had a wonderful 3 days visiting the farms. And every time I come to a new country, the first thing we discover is the culture, the people, before the coffee, before anything else, and to understand how things are working in each farm, which is very specific to each country. Also, it's wonderful to meet the farmers, make new friends all the time. Every time I come on a trip like this, we have the opportunity to also meet other people from other areas, learn from them. So yes, I'm very, very happy in a wonderful 3 days, and thank you to our hosts for being here. So I will be talking about artisan green bean. We are based in Romania, and our green bean project started in 2019. And since then, we've been developing in the Eastern European market and Central European market. So specifically about Romania and the coffee culture, we have approximately 50 to 70 specialty coffee roasters now in Romania. This is a market that's been growing from year to year. So it's really dynamic. It's double-digit growth every year now. Most of the cafes, most of the roasters are focusing on the cafes, so the big volume is on the cafes, and the home market, which is growing. Espresso-based, so espresso is the main way the coffee is consumed in Romania and in our region. And filter coffee, pour-over, batch brew, it's catching up. But still, 70% it's espresso-based. In the home market, it's connected directly to the cafe market. So our home market is developing based on how the cafes are opening and the culture it's creating. So it's a complete culture around the specialty coffee cafes, which are expanding also the home market. So as a taste profile, we look for sweet coffees, lots of body, florals, and a little bit fruity. And that's because it's being consumed on an espresso, and there's some specific things they look for in an espresso. Especially in Romania and the whole region, there is the Italian influence, which means lots of Robusta, lots of strong coffees. So that culture is also changing very fast in our market. We also have the 2016 World Roasting Champion in Romania, and in 2019 we have the Vice Champion. So in 2016 it was Alexandru Nicolai from Bob Coffee, and in 2019 is Bogdan Georgescu, which was from Mabo Coffee. So we have a high level of professionalism when it comes to coffee roasting, and that's why the culture is developing also very fast, the specialty coffee culture. The roasters really want to connect with the farms. So there is this need for the roasters to connect to the farms, and that's a role we play in. So we've been importing coffee in Romania since 2019, and we've been connecting a lot of roasters to the farms. So we intermediate, we bring the coffee, but the relationship on the roaster to the farmer is super, super important if we want really to develop the market and the coffee is to be appreciated. Once the roaster understands what's happening in the farm, the whole perspective of price negotiation and everything that goes around buying coffee completely changes. So we considered it super important that the roasters get connected to where they're buying their coffee from and the traceability, to know where the coffee is coming from, how it's being farmed, what they're going through, completely changes the way roasters buy their coffee compared to just buying from a list and not being connected. So, as I was mentioning, the emerging coffee culture in Europe, so Eastern Central Europe, basically, it's been developing a lot on independent cafes, so independently run, privately owned cafes, which have been really focusing on quality. So in Romania, Poland, Czech Republic, all this region, the quality is really important. And everybody is really technical, focusing on quality of what they're serving, but also the whole coffee culture that goes around it. That being said, there is the challenges of still not being priority, the sustainability part of it, maybe even the buying part of it, still is not so well understood. So this is something we're working on with our roasters and clients in trying to change that. As I was saying, taste preferences in our area, they're super open to experimental. So that those anaerobics, any special process, any special varieties, they're super appreciated. More in the home market, of course, this is being bought, less in the cafes, but this is also growing. So really, they're, let's say, they like to experiment in all of the region. So freshness of the coffee, that's another issue that we've been talking about a lot as a green buyer. So the freshness of the green coffee is one aspect, then is the freshness of the roasted coffee is another aspect. But the freshness of the green coffee is becoming more and more important, and that's also always becoming a challenge for us as an intermediary bringing coffee to the region. Especially the way the crops are moving. You're not having your classical crops anymore once a year. You're having 2, 3, I don't know how many times the crops are coming out. So we're trying to also educate and trying to transmit what fresh crop means. We're working with Ethiopia, and fresh crop for them means now, but we get the coffees in sometime in summer. So by the time we get the coffees, already we're halfway into the production year, and people are already thinking about the next year to be the fresh coffee. So that's a big challenge for the farmers, and that's a big challenge for us, because in our area, they really look for that fresh coffee, which is, of course, the best coffee. So choosing the right coffee. This has been, like, for us, another really important thing. How do consumers choose their coffee? Do they choose their coffee, or do the roasters choose the coffee? We believe the roasters choose the coffee, because the consumer basically is connected to the roaster and really goes based on what the roaster is promoting and educating them about. So the roaster, they're the guys who are going to make the change, not the consumers. The consumers follow the roasters. And any impact that's going to be in the supply chain, of course, one is at the farm level, one is at our level, then we got the roaster level. So the roaster's responsibility, in my opinion, is super big and super important, because they can influence how they buy coffee and how they communicate to their clients. As a geographic idea, Western Europe, I mean, it's famous for London, Berlin, Barcelona. These are the hotspots of specialty coffee. For us, Budapest, Prague, Bucharest, and Warsaw are like the hotspots of those areas, and really, really, the coffee scene is high. So if you come in that area, you will see a totally, really high specialty coffee culture and really high quality, which is not well known. And that's one of the reasons I'm here, to expose the importance of that whole region, which is buying really good coffee and really promoting. So we hope more and more countries, especially Guatemala now, the farmers will be looking at our area where they can promote their coffees, because it's a new region where they can reach out to. As volume-wise, I mean, a micro roaster is doing around 12 to 20 tons of coffee a year, and a medium-sized roaster is around 70 to 100. So this is what approximate are. Of course, I mean, I'm sure there's micro roasters doing even 4 or 5 tons of coffee. But yeah, the market is around this area. And then you got the bigger roasters, which we don't focus on. We focus only on specialty coffee and only on micro roasters and medium-sized roasters. And the medium-sized roasters, when I mean medium, are the micro roasters who are growing. So they're not medium-sized roasters selling commercial coffee. So the challenges. The challenges in our area is GDP, buying power. So we're trying to promote high-quality coffee, but the buying power is a problem. We work up to the Nordics, so we work also with the Nordic region. And there, the challenge of buying coffee as paying for good coffee is not a big challenge. In our area, it is a big challenge because still the salaries are not very high, so that's challenging to buy good quality coffee. And that's one of the reasons roasters still don't really push those high-end coffees, because it's hard to sell end of the day. But it's getting better and better. So in the Nordic areas, as a taste profile, in the Nordic areas, they're drinking their coffee as filter. So espresso, it's there, but the main way they consume is filter. So the way they buy their coffees, the taste profiles they're looking for in the Nordic regions are very different to our region. They're looking for more high acidity, more fruity, more red fruits, notes in that area, while in our area it's more tropical, yellow fruits, sweet, which is more towards espresso. So, I mean, challenge-wise, the way Eastern Europe buys their coffee, the way they focus on is very different than the Nordic region. And the Nordic region, for example, they want to know where the coffee is coming from, the role of women in farms. So they're super open if their farm is operated by women. They're willing to pay for that. Traceability, everything that's connected. While in Eastern Europe, like where we are, the quality of the coffee is like number one. Strategic logistic advantage, Romania is in Eastern Europe. We are on the north is Ukraine, south is Bulgaria, west is Hungary. And then we have the Black Sea. So we have a port in the Black Sea, which gives us a big advantage to bring the coffee in and to get the coffee fast to our area. So also the CO2 emissions, everything that goes with delivering the coffee is much more sustainable than bringing it to Amsterdam and then bringing it by truck all the way to our area. So the advantage is also geographically. Our approach, it's also what we believe in, as I'm a Baha'i, and we integrate a lot of our beliefs in my business model. We believe in a circular economy. A circular economy means everybody in the chain has to get its fair share, and we try to promote that. And farming, agriculture, super important for us, the farming and agriculture, because we believe that's where the food is coming from. So not just coffee, but food itself too. And I don't think importance is being so much given to the farmer. And I think in the future, the more and more we move forward, the farmer is going to be the jefe, the main guy. We're doing this project at Fondeec in Colombia, where we're involved in this. And basically, it's involved in educating of children on coffee farms, empowering women's role in educating women, which is like super important in a farm, and in that whole environment. Trying to bridge the gaps. I mean, some of these things sound like, yeah, everybody else is doing it, bridging the gaps, but we're really trying to connect the roasters to the farms. And that's where we believe things change, the connection to the roasters. So we're super transparent where we buy the coffee from. We're super transparent on how much we charge for the coffee and how much we're taking as a profit, transport, so everybody knows what we're getting. So our unique approach, we're trying to implement this, trying to work with the farmers to understand their costs, annual costs. So maybe a farmer is having 1 year double-digit growth on his production. How should his price be compared to a year that he's having half the production? His costs are the same. The people he has is the same. The problems are the same. So we've been trying to talk to a few farms about this, trying to establish a price which is based on their annual costs. And doing this, we're hoping that it will kind of like equalize the problems every year a farmer goes through. Of course, these are small farms, don't get me wrong, because the bigger farms, they're already having other issues, like moving all their coffee, not just their specialty coffee, not just their high-end coffees. So a good, organized, bigger farm also has low-grade coffee, middle-grade coffee, and for them the problems are different. Their problem is not just selling their anaerobics or special variety. They want all their coffee sold. While a smaller farm has a different problem. We've been working with coffee equipment since 2012. We're distributing Probat and Stronghold roasters, and that's been giving us an advantage to approaching the market. We've set up around 50 roasteries up to now, and every roastery we set up, we have the relationships that's going on, and it's giving us the chance to sell the green coffee. And we're not roasting, so that's another thing that's very specific to our business. We don't roast the coffee because we don't compete with our clients. And we've made a platform basically to promote their coffees. We have our own platform where they can sell their coffees, and we promote them together with our equipment, so the roasted coffees. A little bit about Slow Coffee Festival. We've been doing this for 8 years. It's been Romania's first specialty coffee festival. We did it again because all the connections we had with the cafes and the roasters, and how to bring everybody in one place so they can showcase their coffee, their products, and so. It started really slow with this AeroPress Championships, with like a few hundred people coming in. And last year we had around 6,000-7,000 people coming in. And it's already a regional festival. This year is the first time we're bringing a farmer in. Las Lajas from Costa Rica will be our guest. And we're trying to flip a little bit the way things work. Also to bring the farm towards our area to understand our market, what's going on, what are the prices, so people can put the questions to the farmers without being, because everybody can't travel to origin. So it's not an easy thing. And it's about community, based on community and collaboration, Slow Coffee Festival. And again, we use our independence in the middle to connect people. So lastly, it's our new project, the platform. I will put the pictures of what's going to be. It's a 400-meter space, which is a coffee hub, which will have education on green, roasting, barista. It will host events, and also it will be an open roastery for the people who want to experiment roasting, but without buying the roaster and the equipment, to know if they want to do this or not. Because there are a number of roasters who do the roasting, and then they figure out maybe it's not worth it, maybe it's not what they thought. So before you jump into it, we'll have this. And also a technical guild. So we'll have a technical center to be forming people to repair equipment. Thank you very much. If you have any questions for our area, I will be here for the next 2 days. If you're a farm and you want me to cup the coffees, we're here to buy coffees. That's why I'm here. If you're interested in any questions in our area, if you want to connect to anyone, if you're working with a roaster and you don't know how to get to him, we're super open. Thank you very much.